Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. And I've got a lot to talk about today, and I'm in a very different mood to yesterday. Yes, I was pretty tired, but I wanted to get across my thoughts on the markets. And today I've got more technical stuff to talk about, because we had a bit more of a flush out yesterday. And yeah, I'm going to give you more of an overall perspective still, but I'm going to give you more technical analysis here and give you some comparisons as to where I think we are in the market. What I've been saying to you guys is I thought that the low was in, and I'm going to get back to that in a second. I haven't been right with that so far, but the point that I've been really trying to hammer home, even though I've been trying to also pick the lows for you guys, is that the risk to reward of buying here is brilliant and probably the best. And I keep tweeting the same thing because I really mean it. And the lower we go, or if we chop around this price, it becomes more and more true. In terms of where we are cyclically, the risk to reward here is probably one of, if not the best opportunities that I've seen since I've been in crypto, based on where we are in the cycle, not based on what the potential upside is, but based on the time and potential upside. So from here, like Bitcoin's at what now? 81,000. Sorry, my cursor at 71. $81,000. I've been saying that I think Bitcoin goes to 180-ish thousand dollars plus this cycle. My base case was 180 to 220. It's possible we go lower, say 130 to 180. But my base case is we go 180 to 220. Okay? Even if we go to 130, it's like a 75% gain from here. And it probably does it the next 6 months to a year. Fantastic risk to reward. If you look at alts, which we will do, let's say XRP, for example, is at around 210, 215 or 220, somewhere around there. So it's pushing up as we speak, as of right now. But let's say it goes to $8 as a conservative side. I think it goes higher than that. I've always said 13 is where I thought it would go. But even $8, you're looking at like what, a 4x from here. Okay? So, and that's probably within the next 6 to 12 months. And that's the logic. So that's why I say the risk to reward. And taking that into consideration is the fear and greed index, something we've been talking about quite a lot. I've been talking about how when we're in extreme fear, it's often a time to accumulate. And I actually think where we are now in the fear and greed index is most similar to here, which I was just looking at it from a technical perspective, literally just looking at this chart. I was like, look, we had that flush down into extreme fear and we kind of bounced a bit. Whether it's over or not, this flush out, I'm going to get into that in a minute. I think we're probably most likely looking most similar to this area here, which was actually March, April 2020. And if we look where that is in terms of Bitcoin, it was here in the C19 crash. This is where the fear and greed index did something similar to where we are now. So that could be potentially the opportunity of what we have next for Bitcoin or crypto in general. I'm just not taking it from the exact bottom, but like, look, to the exact top, let's say it's like 900% gain, or even 800% if we mimic something like that. And Arthur Hayes has put into the discussion that we could see $1 million Bitcoin during the Trump presidency. So maybe we don't get something like that. And let's just check the time frame on that, because I didn't actually look at the time frame. But we're just going to go randomly from that recovery somewhere, just to give us an ish time frame. So a year for 800% gain, or nearly 2 years for a 900% gain. So is that where we are? Like, let's have a look at Bitcoin's price action. I'm going to get into some like closer TA or some short-term TA. Actually, as quickly as look at the liquidity. We flushed out this first area of liquidity here at around the $77,000, wicking just below where we'd previously made a low at around 78,000. Cool, started to flush that, and we have more liquidity below us all the way down to 68k. So there is potential for us to go down there. However, if we look at open interest, it's been severely declining since the top. And I'm going to show you one more thing just before I zoom out. But it's all about perspective too, because if we zoom out a little, what we can actually see is that the liquidity above us is still massively more than what we have down at 68k. Although people are longing with their stop losses clearly at 68k. And look, liquidity moves in when you move into it. But look, if we zoom out, I'm going to take us onto the daily time frame. Just have a quick look at open interest. I've got loads to talk about in this video. Oh, it's not working now. Great, cool. No data. Hopefully you work for me. I don't know if it's going to work, but anyway, I'll try daily one more time just to see. Look how much open interest we've actually lost. We're about half of the open interest that we were even back down in this area here. We've been flushing down in open interest heavily, and specifically from the last few weeks, we've lost in open interest 30%, which is a lot. $30 billion, is it? What is it? I don't think this is giving us an actual reading of the open interest. It's just it's just telling us the open interest in general. So scratch the amount, but we've lost about 30% in open interest, which is fantastic. Getting rid of that leverage. So Bitcoin, looking at it from a technical standpoint, what are the first few things that jump into my mind? Well, first off, clear support obviously is below us here now at 74,000, with probably further support like in this area here at around 70-ish K, these sort of areas. But we're moving into this cluster here that we've bounced upon anywhere between like 75 or 74-ish to around 77. That's what we've just wicked into. And I also found something else interesting, which I'll show you in 1 second. But in terms of bullish divergences, we've got lower lows in price action and higher lows on oscillators. So at the very least, I think we'll see a short-term bounce. If not, looking for a bottoming structure around here. I also feel like a lot of the space in general is in consensus that we're going to capitulate further into the mid-70s. Whether we do or we don't, I don't know. I thought we were going to bottom earlier than this. I thought this could be the bottom here. I thought we'd reclaim the range. I explained this to you guys. I was wrong on that. Timing the bottom is difficult. We can discuss why in another video, and I will do that actually. But in this video, I just want to show you where I think we are, just to try and keep it quite clean for you guys. We try and time the bottom in regards to risk to reward, and that's why I've been discussing buying assets. Like I've bought quite a lot of CRV recently. I probably allocated, let me think about what my portfolio is worth-ish. Probably allocated about 2 or 3% of my portfolio to CRV during this drop, maybe 2%, 2.5%, 3%, which isn't, like, it's quite a lot, realistically, for me. And I think it's got the chance to do like a 5 to 10x, and if it does, then I'll de-risk. If it could come up to swing high, if it comes up to $6, fantastic. I'll hopefully still have some. I'll still be holding some at that point. Let's see. I'll keep you up to date on that. But as I said, I always keep you up to date with what I'm doing. My XLM long, unfortunately, literally got stopped out last night. Is what it is. These things happen. I still think this is a good opportunity to be buying XLM / having a low leverage trade on there, because it looks like a bull flag to me, and I do think we continue. And if you catch the long to the upside and we go to break or go towards all-time highs, then it's a fantastic risk to reward trade. Similarly, I'm actually still in my Doge trade. I've talked about this. I think that's very similar. It's bled down heavily. There's a lot of FUD on Tesla, Elon Musk, and this sort of thing at the minute. And I think Doge is similar to XLM. When we break this, what I would call a bull flag, or a bull pennant bull flag, descending triangle, they normally break and return back to the origin at least, so 44 cent. I think my stop loss is at 24 cent, somewhere around there, because of what I'm going to show you now on Bitcoin. So we've got bullish divergence. In fact, we'll talk about XRP at the end, but I did something else this morning that I wanted to show you as well. I just said, look, let's just say this is a whole range for Bitcoin here, rather than the two ranges that we've had. If this is a range, where would that put us? And it puts us about mid of the range, which I thought was quite interesting, especially seeing the bullish divergences, because when you're in a range, and I'll take that off for a second again, when you're in a range, let's see if I can just make this, take it back. Yeah, here we go. When you're in a range, the middle of the range often gets is a reactionary level where price likes to return to. So if this was a range, we've returned to that level. Are we going to now return to the top of the range, or have we actually formed a now smaller time frame range, which I'll show you right here? It might be the hourly where it's more clear. Have we formed a smaller time frame range? It's going to be ranges upon ranges upon ranges. So do you know what? Just for this video, I'm just going to move this range for now. Let's say that is the range that we've potentially formed here. We'll zoom in. Range lows-ish. Let's get rid of these bullish divergence that I've showed you guys already. I might need to sneeze. Give me 1 second. I did need to sneeze. So have we now formed a range? with this range high being at like say 95k and the range low being at 78k. We've come down, we've swept the bottom of the range. Now do we look for a top sweep before potentially looking at any other trades or anything else? So that's what I'm looking at now. That's why I'm going to close my Doge long. If you take these drawings off for a second, could this be a deviation from the range low? Range low there, range high here, deviation, sweep the range high at like what, 24 cent. So maybe we go to 25 cent. I might move my stop loss, my take profit up to 25 cent. And yeah, that's basically the thought process. Again, with Doge on the 4 hour, we've got a bullish divergence. We've got this repeating across many cryptos at the minute. So higher high here on the oscillator, lower low in terms of price action. That's a bullish divergence right there. Same with XRP. We're going to go to XRP now. XRP looks fantastic. Puts on the daily time frame. Genuinely looks fantastic here. Held the bottom of the range to the absolute cent. This hasn't moved. I've not changed this range for ages. Go and look through all my videos. Look at all my X tweets. We've had these grey boxes as areas of like accumulation or resistance. So support and resistance. And then we've had this range parameter drawn in. It bounced on the bottom of the range at the same time forming bullish divergences and potentially a strong bounce today. Looks great, really does look great. We've got bullish divergences on pretty much all time frames. Look. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at in terms of XRP. That's what I'm looking at in terms of Bitcoin, Doge, CRV. It looks similar across a lot of different alts. I've talked about XLM as well. Someone was asking me for XLM. Like XLM, again, bullish divergences, low, higher, like low, lower low in price continuing and a higher low on the oscillator. Recurring theme through a lot of cryptos. Looking at XRP against ETH, we had a strong bounce. Here, we pulled back into the previous range high, bounced strong, looking to return to the upside. XRP Bitcoin into the accumulation area, looking to bounce here. XRP dominance, pretty much the same. It's looking good, guys. I think that it looks good. I'm not saying we're going to boom off straight away. I'm going to have a look at my X profile. I've talked about what different macro analysts think. Andreas Larsen thinks we could be bottoming around here somewhere, but might take a while for the range to play out. He talks about the inverse correlation between the DXY and crypto, normally being like a bit of a lag, so it could be up to 10 weeks. Of lag to see this price action rotate into crypto, but let's say it does, then you could say that this is the start of the move from January. Maybe we start to see the reversal. Maybe we see something like this happening soon, or we're at this part, and then next is this, and then we chop, and then it's this, then we chop, and then it's this. I don't know, but that's where the macro analysts say we are. Which I think is a fair thought. We've talked about the inverse correlation of the DXY repeatedly. Arthur Hayes does think that there is possibility for us to come further down. He talks about $70,000 as a potential region for Bitcoin to bottom out, which is further pain from here. But doesn't mean we can't have this relief bounce that I'm first talking about. When we get that bounce, then we can look maybe towards that 70,000, which is there. Which is where the area that I literally discussed a minute ago. Let's have a look where that is. In terms of price action, this is around 70k here when my cursor is. Makes sense, yeah, maybe 69,000. It probably would take that liquidity at 68k that we saw at the start in the liquidity charts. There's potential for that. But look, it's not far to the downside here for the potential reward is massive. And to try and time the exact bottom is a risky game. And that's all I've been trying to explain to you guys. I'm taking stabs here because let's say Arthur Hayes is 20% wrong or 15% wrong. He'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with that if I'm 15% off the bottom and I'm wrong. That's why I start to take positions, even though there could be more opportune areas to buy. Taking positions and not missing those opportune areas, because let's say I was right about the DXY has already started. Let's say we're following the DXY on a lag time frame, and what we've just seen, for example, is this, and the next stage is what we've seen is this, and then we've seen this, which is where Bitcoin blows like down towards the 70k region, and then actually what we actually do is start to recover and just chop and then we push higher as the DXYs come down. Look, we're lagging on the DXY, remember? Then we have a little bit of a pullback, but we've actually potentially already seen the lows. We don't know, essentially. Because what Arthur Hayes goes on to say is that Bitcoin trades 24/7, and it's a true reflection of liquidity, and it will sniff out when liquidity is changing before stocks, and stocks will probably change, probably continue to go down before crypto, as crypto is already reversing back to the upside. So if you're trying to time the exact bottom, he's essentially saying be careful, but also it could be deeper than we are at now. So that's basically what he's saying, and I agree. But I think that nothing's broken with XRP, for example. I'm going to use XRP as an example just to finish. We've had our big spike and a continuation. A range without breaking is a continuation pattern, and the next phase is another spike. That's what it is. Whether people like that, don't like it, I don't really care. It's the truth. We've got bullish divergences happening at range lows. It's a place to take a long position. It's a place to be bullish at range lows, and that's why I deleveraged at range highs. I wasn't right about thinking there would be a higher low, unless this is the low and that was the low there, and there is the low. There's always the door and the opportunity open for a wick to take the liquidity below where our recent wick was. But with bullish divergences happening at range lows and ranges being continuation pattern, we continue to the upside until something fundamentally changes. And that's where I'm going to leave this video. That's what I think across the board. If you like an alt specifically and it's got a bullish divergence as it has now, not a bad time to be DCAing. I'm not saying it can't go lower, but I'm saying risk to reward. If you've got patience, if you've got a little bit of cash left. If you haven't, you don't need to do anything. Just fucking chill out. Don't need to stress. It's crypto. These things happen. Go look at the Bitcoin chart. Look throughout history. These things happen. We pull back. Even this cycle from the highs, we pull back, look, 33%. Even from these smaller highs, how much is this? 22%. All the way up, we push and pull and push and pull. 22%, 21%. Look at the last cycle. It's exactly the same in every cycle. There, you could say from here to the COVID crash is 64, but realistically, in the last cycle, we pull back all the way 71%. We have multiple pullbacks in every single cycle, 20%. Wherever you think we are, they're at 31%. There are pullbacks, and the same in the cycle before. All of these cycles have significant pullbacks on the way up. 40%, that's just this tiny area here. Stop shitting yourself, literally. You're not going to help. Like, I know it's hard, I know it does feel bad, but your emotional control is the most important thing here, and whether you're scared or not scared is not going to affect the market in one way or another. So you may as well try and look at this from a neutral perspective. Doesn't feel nice watching your portfolio go down. I understand. If you don't think I understand, like, you have no idea what I've been through the last 7 years. You actually, like, that's why we can sit here and talk to you about this like this, because I've done it all. I've been there. I'm not saying I'm saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm going to continue to be right. I'm just saying what I know. Been there. I've rode through it. I've rode through it with my entire net worth. Everything I've got. But that same volatility and emotional control has allowed me to pretty much 50x my net worth over the last 6-7 years. It's not been easy, but if it was easy, it'd be fucking boring anyway. Like, we're here. It's a challenge. We're trying to look for value. We're potentially finding value. I think XRP continues to the upside. I think we're going to be very successful this cycle, personally. But I could be wrong. I was wrong on where I thought the exact bottom would come in. But overall, as long as you're right overall and you have the longer term time frame, and if you did the same thing as me, you'd obviously done pretty well. I've told you guys what I've been doing the whole way through. Told you guys I've been allocating to CRV now, and I've got a Doge long on. Whether that long comes off or not, don't know. And pretty much the rest of my portfolio is in XRP. I've got some Flare, I've got some other things. But yeah, I'll leave you with that. I hope that helps. Try and give you the best breakdown that I can when I can. Felt like today was a good day to do that. Looks like a good day to be buying things, to be honest. The last day or so. Time will tell if I'm right. Could be wrong. But I'm willing to put my eggs in that basket, and I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm going to leave you there, so I'm going to start ranting again. Please do share with a friend if you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and then also assess what other people are thinking and feeling. And if you think you're in the same boat as a lot of people, then you can understand that it's the market creating that emotion in you, can't you? Because otherwise people wouldn't be feeling the same. So yeah. Peace up. A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.